Hey guys, it's happy Homebrew Wednesday. This is my old Rasputin clone. You can't see it. It's pretty stinking dark. It's all cleared out. Not quite carved up yet. It's getting close. Be pretty close here pretty soon. But let's talk about me. I've got a short, kind of a tasting of that. I've got loaded into queue here. This week's turned into kind of a long one. Not because I wanted it to, just because home alone Saturday and I kegged my pumpkin beer, tasting on that. It's sitting in the keezer, which is right down there. It's not quite carved up yet, and I'm gonna turn off the turn off the, what am I doing here? I'm gonna turn off the CO2 to this one. This is my zombie dust clone. Turn that off, and I'll turn that one on. See that one? And that one, I'll crank it up to like 30 psi. Let it sit there. Jesus, Pete, my lighting is awful. Let that sit for another day, and go from there. They'll probably be all right tomorrow. Pumpkin beer is clear as a bell. Not really a whole lot of clearing need to be done on that. Defining, not really need to be much done. Let's see. So I tried my hand at wrangling some yeast from a bottle again. And I don't know if it's going to work or not. I bought the Omeganger, the Omegang Abbey Ale, and I tried to harvest the yeast at the bottom of it. Well, it's on my stir plate for 48 hours, and my gravity hasn't changed. So I'm gonna go ahead. I switched containers, and I've gotten a small, like a mason jar. I'm gonna let it sit in a couple days and see what happens. I'm not really thinking anything's gonna happen, but I tried. But I have. Oh shoot! I went to the Kroger Sunday and I bought some half-gallon jars and some pint-sized jars, and I'm gonna try to start my own little yeast refrigerator. Stuff like 1968 though. I don't know so much about the 1056. I may do that, but some of the more exotic yeast that I've been using, not that 1968 is exotic for me. I mean, I don't use it much, so I'm gonna start doing that. But really don't have a whole lot going on. Let's see. I am in the new homebrew experiment that Puka Brad is having, and I'm gonna get started on that here shortly. It is a stout. Not a big stout, about 5% or so. Not very big at all, but 10 of us. We're all going to have different malts. Same recipe, same mash schedule, same fermentation schedule, all that stuff. Just different base malts. So I've got Gleneagles Maris Otter. I've never used that. I've used Maris Otter a few times, and I do enjoy Maris Otter. So let's see. I really think that's about it. We'll go to the racking, tasting notes, all that good stuff. It's probably gonna be like a 20-minute video or something. You guys watching my pretty face. So without further ado, I'm going to stop yapping at you. See you guys next week. Peace. Alright guys, it's Saturday morning. See if I can get this sucker to focus. There we go. This is my pumpkin beer. So it finished at 10:14. So it's pretty good. It's about where it should have finished. I mashed it at 152. And see how clear it is right now. It's pretty clear. It's got a pound of flaked oats in there. So I was kind of figured it was going to be a little hazy, but it's pretty good. I fermented that out with Weiss 1968. It's the English ESB yeast. So, my typical keg day. Nothing too important. This is what I'm drinking on right now. 3 Floyd's Brew Do, fresh hopped, wet hopped pale. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good stuff. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and get to transferring, then come back and maybe do some tasting notes. I don't know. I'm interested in tasting that. It's only got about 12 IBUs worth of hops in there, so it's not going to be a fairly hopped beer, highly hopped beer at all. But you can still smell the molasses in it, and you can smell the vanilla and a little bit of the pumpkin pie spice. But you really can't smell anything out of these tubes when you take your hydrometer samples. So I'll get that to a small glass, and maybe I'll take some footage. I don't know. Maybe I'll keep it to myself. I don't know. But anyway, my favorite word. We'll stop it and get some work done. See you guys. All right, here's my sample. Get a smell on it and do some tasting notes. See how it works out. See if you guys can see me in my pink shirt. Let's see. There's a lot of cinnamon, a lot of molasses. You can get nutmeg. It's got a classic kind of this is such a classic kind of pumpkin pie kind of smell. That rich pumpkin pie that you can get, the holiday kind of pumpkin pie. Maybe it's got a sweet smell. Kind of like the pumpkin pie that's kind of been in the oven, and it's real dark kind of pumpkin pie. That kind of smell, except no whipped cream for the top of it. Anyway, that's a bad joke, I guess. I didn't even laugh. Maybe I'm laughing on the inside. All right. Let's see. You definitely get the spice now. There is the molasses. When I was in the tube with the hydrometer, the molasses was kind of overwhelming, but there's definitely a sweetness left over, smell from the molasses. That's real smooth. It's got a real silky mouth flavor, texture. It's kind of right now at room temperature, it's about 69, 70 in here. It's got a real kind of medium mouthfeel, maybe on the light side of medium. A little bit of hop bitterness in the back. It's not, you've got to search for the hop in it. But Galena is a very fruity hop, so it should play well. It should play pretty well with a pumpkin pie. But yeah, the oats, I was wanting out of the oats. I was wanting some mouth texture, some body with it. So yeah, definitely awesome. Awesome. I use awesome a lot, but it's pretty good. I think the Galena, the pumpkin pie spice, and the ESB, the English ale yeast, there's some fruitiness there to it. Both in the nose and in the taste, more so in the taste than in the nose. But I didn't use any real pumpkin in this. Sue me, I guess. It's not pure, but it's good enough. No, it's pretty good. For a recipe that's 90% my idea, it's pretty good stuff. I can't complain. But anyway, I'm gonna let you guys stop looking at this mug. This mug, Volkfest, August 12th, 2014. That was last year. That is a craft beer festival. Craft beer only. It's only local Cincinnati brands. So this year is actually quite out of date because there's probably 3 or 4, maybe more breweries that's opened up since then, both on the north side of the river and the south side of the river. So Northern Kentucky's kind of undergoing that craft beer boom that Cincinnati's gone through the last, say, 10 years. But, okay, I'm going to sign off. That's probably it for today. You guys don't need to see me clean, because that sucks. But, all right, guys. Hey, have a good weekend. It's about time for lunch, so see you guys. Hey, guys. Home alone on a Saturday. So what am I doing? Let's do a side-to-side comparison of my Old Rasputin clone. Let's fix this stupid makeshift thingy, tripod-ish thing. Okay, so I'm going to compare. This is the commercial version of Old Rasputin, and this small little taster is mine, because I don't need a 9% beer and a almost 10% beer all in one sitting. So I'm going to start with the nose. Old Rasputin. Some roast, some chocolate, almost like milk chocolate kind of smell. It's not like a brutal roasty RIS like sometimes you get, like the ones that really need to aged. But there's some fruit there. Sweetness. This is mine. Nose has kind of died down on mine a little bit since I poured it. But let's see if I can maybe swirl this a little bit and try to get something going. Okay. There's a little bit of nose. It's got a similar smell. The roast is a little subdued. The chocolate is a little subdued, but it's a little more fruity smelling. I don't know if that's from the honey I added to get my gravity up a little bit. I may have added a little too much honey. Well, I know I added more honey than what I needed. See, a pound of honey, from what I've been reading, will give you about 7 gravity points. So I went ahead and did that. I should have really only added maybe just about a half a pound, or so, a little over half a pound, to get my OG up to 1090. But let's go ahead and get a taste. The noses, this is definitely, there's a difference in the nose. Yeah, maybe the size of the glass, and maybe the opening, and maybe all that good stuff, but there's a similarity there. This is a little more pronounced than that, but you can definitely smell a similar nose to it. Roast, chocolate. It's got some hot bitter. It should. It's, you know, it's 90, 95 IBU beer, but mine's not quite as roasty in the taste. Not quite the same bitterness. Not bad. The beer's not bad. Maybe it's a little green. Maybe give it another week or two in the keg. It's only been kegged for a week now, maybe. Be a week tomorrow, I think. So, you know, it needs condition a little bit. I mean, this. Now they're really starting to smell a lot alike. I think, yeah, probably the honey, because there's a residual sweetness there that's not the same kind of residual sweetness as what this is. And I think I can kind of still get it in the nose. Probably, hindsight, I probably should have collected a little bit more wort, boiled for 2 hours, or an hour and a half, whatever, and got my original gravity up to around 1090. Mine was 1086, so I wasn't far off. Excuse me, but I was really trying to really replicate this beer. If I would have done that and boil longer, boil for an hour and a half, I'd do a 90-minute boil or maybe a 2-minute boil, depending on how much wort I could have pulled out of that mash tun. I probably could have got my. Well, yeah, I could have. Really, I probably could have done that with what I had. I ended up kegging 5.5 gallons. So, one thing I used to do when I had my 2 cooler system, I would collect roughly. It was different boil pot, so the boil off was different. I would collect, and I would boil down to what the specific gravity was supposed to be prior to fermentation. Whether that was 5 gallons, 5.5 gallons, whatever. Could I have done that now? Probably could have done that. But back then, I didn't check my gravity of the running. So if I was pulling, say, 8 gallons off a mash tun, my gravity of my runoff could have been down below 1. So that wasn't good. That couldn't have been good. I ruined the beer that way. I did a Shakespeare Stout clone, and I this was on my single tier system, and this is before I checked gravity consistently on my runoff, and I checked it, and I was about at 1.000. I was probably like 1.05 if I remember correctly. It's been a while, and I was hoping nothing drastic happened from it, but I kegged that beer, and it just tasted like ass. It was awful. I couldn't save it. If you have another tip, I kind of found out through that whole entire process. If there's a little bit kind of a tannin kind of taste to it, like you have done that, put in gelatin in your keg to find that will also pull some of that tannin taste out of it. Not enough to save my beer, but it did improve it. But I go ahead and I put gelatin in everything. And the other day on my Homebrew Wednesday, last week, I said there's something not right with this. Well, that what happened. I went ahead and I kegged it. I let it sit overnight. Put the gelatin in it. Force carved it at the same time I put the gelatin in it, and let it sit. Well, the next day I went ahead and I pulled off. I probably only pulled off a pint. Maybe that's it. That keg that I've got always had a slow runoff. Well, the post and the plunger and all that stuff, there was something's not right with that geometry there. So I went ahead and I changed the post instead of in the poppet in that, and now everything runs fast, just as fast as everything else. But when I tasted that beer after my initial runoff, I ran some off, put it down the drain, pulled another pint, and that's what I was drinking. I thought, something's not quite right there, and that's what it was. It was the majority of the gelatin was still in the bottom of the keg, so I wasn't getting the true beer. I was getting a mix of the gelatin, all the proteins that had collected, and obviously threw up the taste of the beer. So when I did change the poppet in the post, I ran through another pint, and it just poured out crap. I mean, just if you guys have, if you guys do fine with gelatin, you know what you pull off after it sits for a day or 2 or 3 days. There's a lot of stuff in that. Even in a clear beer, still pulls a lot of stuff out of there. So that's what I was tasting. And where am I going with this? Fuck, at this point I don't know. But anyway, moral of the story is, hindsight's 20/20, and I probably should have Probably should have pulled a little bit more wort off of mine and boiled for an hour and a half. Then called it good instead of adding the honey. I mean, I should not have added a pound. I should have only added about a half a pound. And I'm rambling and I'm rambling and I'm rambling. But it is it's a good stout. Maybe it needs to condition for a couple weeks. I don't know. But, you know, Old Rasputin, that's one of those beers that you ferment it out 21 days or whatever. Then if you want to bottle it, 2 weeks in the bottle and it's ready to drink. I mean, it's that balance. It's that good of a beer. It's ready to go. But you know, I did all right. But by no means is that going to be one to put in the trash, to pour down the drain. It's a good beer. Just needs a little time. We'll see what happens. Anyway, I thought I'd share that with you guys. Hey, thanks for watching.